So drug repurposing is really just this process where you take drugs that are approved for all the things they're approved for. There are about 3,000 drugs that are currently FDA approved. And you ask, could some of those drugs or one of those drugs potentially help my disease? Is there a drug out there that already exists that could maybe help me? And it's already FDA approved. So it's obviously a lot easier to try it for my given condition. There actually are many famous examples of drug repurposing that some of the viewers may have already heard of. A drug called thalidomide caused many problems back in the 1950s. And then years later, a researcher figured out that it would be potentially effective for leprosy, and it got an approval for leprosy. And then shortly thereafter, it was determined to be effective for multiple myeloma, a horrible form of cancer. And now it's effective. It's one of the leading treatments for myeloma. And so when you think about a drug treating leprosy and cancer, you would never think to make that connection. But what we've learned is that many diseases, even if they appear different from an external perspective, they share some of the same underlying problems. And so thalidomide works on leprosy and cancer because they both involve issues with blood vessel development. And so that's how thalidomide works. Another drug that everyone knows well is Viagra. We sort of all know the typical use for Viagra. What we don't know is that it's actually also approved for a rare lung disease called pediatric arterial hypertension. These children were not even surviving into their teenage years. They were dying before they even made it to teenage years. Now they take Viagra every day and they live long, full lives. It's just incredible. And so that's an example where completely different conditions, but again, both benefiting from the same drug. And of course, there are many, many more examples. So the important takeaway is that when you're told, if you have a rare disease and you're told there are no drugs for your disease, which is what I was told, there are no more drugs. We've tried everything is exactly what my doctor told me. Recognize that your doctor is correct. What they're saying is accurate. There are no approved drugs. But what I encourage you to then ask as the next question is, could one of the drugs that's already out there for something else, could it possibly help me or the person that I love?